Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. This afternoon, we will be focusing on the early years apprenticeship programs at level 2 and level 3. And as we are now waiting a few more moments for others to join, please make sure yourself comfortable and ready for the section. You are also very welcome to use the chat box to let us know where you're joining from today. All right. Okay, maybe we should start now. And as mentioned, today's webinar is going to focus on the early years apprenticeship at level 2 and level 3. So we will share the latest program updates, explain how the funding runs, how the funding works, and outline all the recruitment and placement support available. Even though if you are not currently working in a setting, this section will be is recorded, and we will be sharing the recording with everyone afterwards. And we will have a Q&A section at the end of the webinar. So if you have any questions at any point during the section, please add them to the Q&A box rather than the chat box. And then we will come back to them at the end of the webinar. So today, joining us, we'll have Emma. We'll walk you through the curriculum and also how the program is going to deliver it. Steve will explain the funding and the financial support available. And also Nikki will then guide you through the recruitment and placement support so you will understand the full journey from where you inquiry and to starting the program. So I'll just pass to you, Emma.
Hi everyone. So I'm Emma Redding and I'm the curriculum manager for early years apprenticeships at Best Practice Network. So I'm going to talk to you a bit about what an apprenticeship is, what our curriculum programs look like, and a bit about what you can expect if you were to sign up for one of our apprenticeships. So first of all, a bit about what an apprenticeship is. An apprenticeship is basically a training program that allows you um, to learn to earn money while you learn. Sorry, Stephen, I can't see the slides anymore. There we go. So yeah, you can earn a wage while you're learning. It's a great way of you gaining that practical experience and learning through what you're doing in the workplace. It's all completed with full tutor support, and I'll talk to you a bit more throughout as we go through the webinar on what support your tutor would be able to provide you with. The great thing about an apprenticeship is it's a way of you gaining a qualification completely for free without any student loans or fees that you have to pay because it's always fully free for an apprentice. An apprentice never will need to pay anything, and a great way of you gaining that practical experience that supports your learning. Um, so what is apprenticeship made up of? So there's different elements to every apprenticeship. Um, there's the standard, which is the basically knowledge, skills, and behaviours that you are working towards on your apprenticeship. So when on programme, the tutor that you'll be working with will be supporting you to develop your knowledge, skills, and behaviours. Depending on your age, there's an element of maths and English. So we deliver maths and English functional skills as part of the apprenticeships, depending on your age and the previous qualifications that you've achieved. So um, if you're 16 to 18 years old and you haven't achieved previous maths and English qualifications, then we will support you to achieve those while on programme. There's something called off-the-job training, which is learning within the workplace, and I'll talk to you a bit more about what that is as we go through today's webinar. When you get to the end of your programme, you would basically go into something called Gateway to Completion. And this is to confirm you are ready for your assessment. And then there is a assessment window at the end of your programme, which will be around 3 months where you will complete your assessment. So all the assessment is done at the end of the apprenticeship. So, what are the benefits of our early years apprenticeships? So, first of all, as I mentioned earlier, it's a great way of earning a wage while you learn with no fees to pay. So, it's completely free always for an apprentice. It's a way of gaining a nationally recognised qualification that meets EYFS requirements. So, our apprenticeships are in line with the EYFS requirements. It is a great way of learning by doing with real world experience in a childcare setting. So, having that practical experience really supports your learning. You've got that expert tutor support and flexible learning. So, doing an apprenticeship, that benefit is that you've got your tutor who works with you one to one and tailors the learning around you and your learning style. There's lots that we do to support you as an individual as well as supporting your learning for the program. So, building confidence, communication, and career ready skills is something that we put a key focus on. And it does open doors as well to higher education and leadership roles. We have got on the next slide details of the one of the many progression routes that you could follow, having done an apprenticeship with us. So you'll see the programs that we offer. So we've obviously got the early years practitioner level 2 apprenticeship that we are going through today, and the early years educator level 3 apprenticeship, which I'll be talking you through a bit more about today. Once you've completed your level 2, level 3, you could go on to do your level 5 apprenticeship in the future, which is a leadership focused apprenticeship. So that would be if you were in a leadership role. We can then support you with signposting you to a university that we are partnered up with. So there's a couple of universities that we work with that can offer a top-up degree in early years and accept learners who've done the level 5 early years lead practitioner apprenticeship. And then you can do early years initial teacher training through us if that is something that you would like to do. So this is just one of the many possible career routes that your early years apprenticeship could take you down if you wanted the route of further study, all the way up to EYITT. So I was going to talk a bit about what our delivery plan looks like. So for all of our apprenticeship programs, it's a blended program of face-to-face and online study. So you will have online virtual classrooms, you'll have independent learning online, engaging e-learning packages, independent research, and then you'll have a mix of face-to-face and online visits with your apprenticeship tutor as well. There are progress reviews every 4 and 6 weeks for all of our apprenticeships. So you will get that regular check-in, that regular review of your progress with your employer and your tutor. We have the specialist one-to-one tutor support available. So every learner is allocated an apprenticeship tutor, and they're all experts in early years. They're all ex early years leaders and experienced early years staff. We also, as part of our program, have our BPM Boost program, which is our personal development, career information, advice and guidance, and welfare program. So, as an apprentice with us, you will have access to a range of different classes, podcasts, and resources on topics such as resilience, health and well-being, mental health, career development. So, there's lots of different things that we offer you there. We encourage lots of reflection on your learning and your practice continuously throughout your apprenticeship. And then finally, apprenticeships, as they are an employer-led program, it's key that we have that strong partnership between us as the training provider, you and your employer. So I'm now going to talk to you a bit about what the specific programs that we're looking at today, Early Years Practitioner Level 2 and Early Years Educator 3 look like. So starting with Early Years Practitioner Level 2. This program is a 12-month program, including an extra 3 months window for your endpoint assessment. This is for a full-time learner, so the time frame will be extended if you are working part-time. If you haven't already achieved Maths and English qualifications at a grade 4 or grade C GCSE or equivalent, then you will get the opportunity to work towards Functional Skills Maths and English Level 1 for this programme. This is mandatory for 16 to 18-year-old learners who haven't achieved equivalent qualifications and is optional for anybody else. So we would encourage apprentices do take the opportunity to develop their maths and English skills if they need to. The level 2 is ideal for learners who are new to early years or are just not quite ready for level 3. So if you are brand new to working in an early year setting, then the level 2 is a great place to start and develop your skills before then going on to a level 3 apprenticeship. Apprenticeship has 9 core modules, and we focus on areas such as child development, health and safety, safeguarding, and purposeful play and assessment. So we cover all the core things that are needed in the role of an early years practitioner. And when you get to the end of the program, there are 2 assessment methods. So there's an observation and a professional discussion, which is underpinned by a portfolio of evidence. So that is our level 2 early years practitioner program. And moving on to our early years educator level 3 program. So this program is slightly longer due to the depth. So it's a 15-month program. And actually the minimum duration now is actually 8 months. But usually you'll spend about between 12 to 15 months on program. It's a fully recognised qualification in line with the YFS requirements, so supports in meeting the ratio requirements in an earlier setting. For an early years educator level 3 apprenticeship, if you do need to complete maths and English, it would be maths and English level 2, and the same age restrictions apply. So it would be for 16 to 18-year-olds mandatory. Learners do need to complete paediatric first aid and submit their certificate as part of their early years educator apprenticeship, and this is in line with meeting the EYFS requirements. And our early years educator program again covers a lot of the same kind of modules as that I'd mentioned for level 2, but it goes more in depth. So covering safeguarding, health and safety, child development, a unique child, enabling environments, teaching, learning, and assessment. And there's a bit more kind of legal requirements and theories and a bit more of in-depth learning than you would find for level 2. The endpoint assessment requirements consist, again, same assessment methods as for level 2. There's an observation and questioning session and a professional discussion with a portfolio of evidence. So I was just going to talk a bit about what the requirements are for an employer and what employers will need to make sure that they do to support any apprentices on programme. So if you were looking to start this apprenticeship, then you would need to make sure that you've got an employer that can support in meeting these requirements. So first of all, employers need to attend all of the learner reviews and make sure that they are engaged in reviews of learner progress. Allowing time to attend our monthly webinars. So we have virtual classroom sessions once a month for 2 hours, and employers need to make sure that apprentices are available to attend their one class that they need to per month. Um, to provide apprentices with off-the-job training. So I'll talk a bit more about what that is on the next slide and give some examples. To provide you with a mentor, make sure that you've got somebody that can support you with developing within your role, can give you that support and guidance that you require. Giving that support, feedback, and guidance is crucial in supporting you to develop. And finally, providing you with opportunities to develop your knowledge, skills, and behaviours. So if there is an area that you don't yet have the opportunity to do within your job role, it's providing you with that opportunity to develop those knowledge and skills within those areas. So I've mentioned a couple of times off-the-job training. So I'll just talk to you a bit about what off-the-job training is. So it's basically dedicated time within your working hours that's supporting you to develop new knowledge, skills, and behaviours that are relevant to your apprenticeship. So you can think of it as anything that's within your working hours that's relevant to your apprenticeship that's teaching you something new, basically. So there's lots that you can count as your off-the-job training. There are, for example, if you attend a training session in your setting, the virtual classroom sessions that we provide online with Best Practice Network, completing your online interactive learning that we provide as part of the apprenticeship, completing research. It could be that you're looking at policies and procedures in the setting, that you're shadowing somebody, that you're working with your mentor, having a coaching session, reflecting on your learning. There are a set number of hours that need to be met for each apprenticeship. So there's a set number of hours that you would need to complete of off-the-job training. It's around 6 hours per week, roughly, for each apprenticeship. So roughly 6 hours is what you would need to set aside each week for your off-the-job training. So that now brings me to hand over to Steve, who's going to talk you through the funding options for our early years apprenticeships.
Thanks, Emma. So hi everybody, I'm Steve. I'm the apprenticeship funding manager. So I was going to quickly talk through what the funding options are. So if you go to the next slide, please, Stephen. Thank you. So if your employer is a large organization who has a PAYE, so an annual staff wage bill of over £3 million, then your employer would pay into what's called the apprenticeship levy, and the cost of the training would come out of that apprenticeship levy. However, if you work for a smaller organisation, then the government will co-fund the apprenticeship and they'll contribute 95% of the cost, and the employer would just need to make a small 5% contribution. So as you can see over here, we've got the cost of the programs here. So for an early years practitioner level 2, which would normally cost £5,000, the employer would only need to pay £250 towards that. They would need to pay VAT, so the total would be £300. And we would invoice that monthly over the duration of the program. So we just need to make a contribution of £25 per month. And for the level 3, that's a slightly longer duration. The cost would be £350, which is 420 plus, including the VAT. And that's a 15-month program. The cost would be £28 per month. If the employer is unable to fund the apprenticeship, then they can arrange for what's called or apply for what's called a levy transfer. And this is where companies who pay into the apprenticeship levy but are not using it all are able to gift some of that. And you can apply through that through your digital apprenticeship service account, which we can help you get set up. Also, if you are a non-levy paying employer, so you don't have a PAYE over 3 million, then any apprentices that are aged between 16 to 21 will have the cost of the course fully funded. Or if you're between 22 and 24 and you have an education, health and care plan. Also, there is an incentive for those between age 16 and or between 16 and 18. We will pay the employer additional £1,000 as an incentive there to help encourage the learning. So that's how the funding works. If you've got any questions, please pop them in the chat and we can cover them at the end. I'll hand over to Nikita now, who will talk through our recruitment service for you. You're on mute, Nikita, I think.
I definitely am. Sorry about that. So my name is Nikita. I work in the apprenticeship recruitment team, and I'll just give you some more information about how our services work. So you're probably wondering how our free recruitment service works, and I'm going to give you some more information about how we can support you further. We are eager to match enthusiastic and motivated learners to support our supportive employers so that they can thrive in earlier sector. We have two elements to our recruitment services. We have the element where we fill vacancies for employers, and we also have the element where we support those without employers in finding employment, which will become part of our talent pool. So I'm first going to speak about how we support the settings. So once we have your vacancy details, we'll complete a 10-minute call to discuss your requirements for an apprentice. After this call, we will get this advertised on various job boards and screen any applicants that apply. This screening allows us to sieve out those who are not suitable to your requirements, ineligible, or too far away. We'll use these screening calls to shortlist eager candidates, and we will collect CVs and send these across with a short blurb about the candidates and their experience. You will then select the candidates to interview and offer as you would any other employee, and we will follow your recruitment process. Once we're aware of the selection choice, we'll process the candidate's application, which we pass to our apprenticeships team for enrolment. How we support our apprentices. When you apply for an apprenticeship with Best Practice Network, if you do not have an employer, you will be put into our talent pool section. This term allows us to understand that you need to support with finding an employer. We will conduct a screening call or form, as this allows us to understand your requirements, experience and qualifications to ensure you are eligible for the programme. We'll discuss any current vacancies that we might have in your local area and discuss the suitability of your travel into these settings. If we don't have any suitable vacancies, we will start reaching out to local settings with the hopes of finding a new employer. But we do ask that you reach out to local employers also, as this does better your chances of finding an employer. We will send you some documents with some guidance on how to do this alongside our CV template. And we will contact you for any opportunities that we find. If you are invited to an interview, we will arrange a suitable date and time. Sometimes the employer does like you to stay for a work trial or a stay and play, which could be an hour or even more. And in this time, the employers are looking to see how you engage with the children, but you will be sent some interview guidance to support you prior to this. The employer will then give me some feedback on whether you were successful or not. If you are successful, we'll process your application and start the enrolment process. If you were not successful, then we will provide you with some feedback and we'll repeat the process until you find employment. If you are interested in applying for any of our courses today, then please go to our website and you can apply for any of the early years apprenticeships that we have on our website.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Alma. Thank you, Steve. And yeah, I think that's pretty much what we would like to deliver today about the early years level 2 and level 3 apprenticeship programs. And if you have any questions, please feel free to pop into the Q&A box or the chat box now, and we'll come back to you right away.
I can see we've got a question from Rubina in the chat about whether it's available in Preston. So yes, absolutely. Our apprenticeships are available to anyone who resides in England who is eligible for that program.
Yes, our office is in Bristol, but we have tutors all around the country. So wherever you live in, our team are able to support you on the apprenticeship programs. So don't worry about the location issues. Perfect. It seems like everyone's happy. Um, no worries. If you have any more questions or
Oh, here we go. I've got a quick one
oops,
from Grace here.
yeah.
Is there any funding for anyone taking an apprenticeship or funding to stay out of home? So we that's not going to be available, I'm afraid, because that's not really part of what the government offer. The government will offer funding to cover the cost of the training, but outside of that, I'm afraid not.
I also got a
Um,
questions from the from the Q&A box, and so
Rosanna,
Rosanna, yeah,
yeah,
asking how many hours do we need to work in a nursery for level 3?
I can add it's 16 hours, Rosanna, is the minimum.
Perfect. Any more questions? Lovely. I think we are all good now. So if you have any more questions, we will send out the recordings of these webinars later on. And within that email, you can pop in your personal situations. Just reply to that email. Our team will get back to you to give you a personal advice on how we can support you on the apprenticeship programs. And sorry, just
Mm.
one last question from Rubina. So actually, I'm basically from another country, but residing in UK now. Do I need a GCSEs?
Yeah. So how long have you lived in the UK for, Rabin? You need to be at least 3 years to be eligible. You wouldn't need to have GCSEs, but you might need to take functional skills on program to get your maths and English up to standard.
Perfect. Thank you, Steve. So yeah, if you have any more questions, just feel free to pop us an email, reply our recording emails, and it will be all good. And because of different programs, we have different cohort or intake starting date, so we have different deadlines on our different programs. So please, you may scan the QR code on the screen now, or just go to our bestpracticenet.co.uk/early years, and then you can find all our programs details. Thank you very much, everyone,
Thanks.
and hope to see you soon.
Yep. Cheers all. Bye bye.
Bye.
You.
Bye.